All right, so as we're getting closer to implementing, the zombie barricade kind of thing, I want to go ahead and do a little bit of renaming. Now, I made an initial mistake for whatever reason by naming barricades, as in the debris, barricade. So in my head, I didn't really think about the zombie barricade and the actual naming that, Call of Duty uses, but we're going to go ahead and rectify that now by basically renaming this entire, not renaming the barricade module, we're going to make a new module called the DebrisModule and pretty much copy and paste everything over. Because at that point, we can just use our barricade module for the zombie barricade. So to begin, let's go ahead, make a new Unreal module, and I'll call it DebrisModule. Let's go ahead and add that. And we want to go to the build.cs and the build.cs of the barricade module so we can see what we need. So we just need the abilities, tags, and core module. So abilities, tags, core module. We don't need the slate, and that takes care of that. So next up, we need a simple actor. So let's make a new actor under a folder called Debris, and we'll just simply call it Debris. All right, let's go ahead and do the exact same thing, but for a data asset. So this will be a primary data asset under the Debris folder, and let's call it PDA underscore Debris. And yes, I know I pronounced that kind of weird. Okay, once we have that, in our case, I think we can actually get rid of, because we're not using the .cpp, we can get rid of the PDA barricade.cpp and pretty much just, start copying stuff over. So to begin, let's start with the data asset. So we have our PDA barricade and our PDA debris. Let's go ahead and copy over the forward declare and everything in the public section like so. And that takes care of that. So we can close that down and move on to the debris.h and barricade.h. So let's copy, let's see, we are including the interact interface. So we need to add that include and inheriting from it, our forward declares and our event, and basically the remaining contents of the header file. Then we can just rename where it says a barricade to a debris. And that's pretty much everything there. Let's go ahead and go to the implementation. And we're going to copy everything from a barricade into a debris just to replace it. Then let's check our includes and copy all of that and paste it in as well. The only thing we want to change is the barricade include. We want to change that to debris PDA underscore debris. And then we want to rename a barricade to a debris. So let's Control F. We'll do a select all and do a debris. And that takes care of most of that. So that takes care of all of our functions, and our main issue is the data asset. So back in our header, let's go down to where we have our barricade data. It is no longer going to be UPDA barricade, but rather UPDA underscore debris. And let's go ahead and add a forward declaration and remove our PDA barricade there. Then we just want to rename it to debris. It's a weird word. Data. And same thing, all of the categories, let's swap over to debris as well. Make sure we have everything related to barricade out, which it looks like we have. Then I just want to swap the uses of barricade data to debris data. All right, so we have a get barricade thing there. We have our, what do you call it? Gameplay event tag that needs to be changed, and some properties in the data asset. So let's go back to our data asset, call it Debris name, and let's change again barricade to Debris. Okay, so that is everything related to barricade out of the data asset. Now we need to rename the gameplay tag. So let's change gameplay event purchase barricade to purchase Debris. Then go to the CPP and same thing, rename the barricade to Debris. And that takes care of our gameplay event tags, where we just have to fix it right there. And then we can change our barricade name down here to Debris name that we just did in the data asset. And now we just basically want to change the get barricade interaction message to get Debris interaction message. So get Debris interaction message, Debris name, like so. And change it to the new function. Okay, so we have one more use of it, which is the get barricade collision preset. Let's go to that, which is in our developer settings, and rename it to get Debris collision preset. So it uses this barricade collision preset, renamed to Debris collision preset. Okay, that takes care of those entries of barricade for the header and CPP. Now we just got to replace barricade with Debris in our function to get it. And I think that is just about it, minus the gameplay event of on purchased. So that was this event down here. So we need to go where we're using this, which is in our main module, gas abilities, event listeners, and we no longer have purchase barricade, we have purchase Debris. And we need to actually rename this whole event. So this is on barricade purchase. Let's do on Debris purchase instead. And do our renaming. Then head down here, fix the function, and that is everything related to the word barricade, I think. So we should be pretty much good to go. So now that we have that new module and everything set up, let's go ahead and build and see if we, missed anything. And then at some point, well, once we confirm this, we can go ahead and pretty much wipe the actual barricade module itself out. Okay, so we are missing some things in barricade.cpp. That's fine. They no longer exist. And that seems to be about it. So let's focus on doing some cleanup. So in our barricade header and CPP, let's just pretty much wipe out everything except for the interaction stuff here. And remove our on purchased and forward declaration to PDA barricade. So, and our motion component, we don't need that. At least I don't think. Okay, so we have the constructor, begin play. Can probably get rid of on construction. Have our interact, can interact, and get interaction message. So let's go ahead and do some cleaning up. We're not using those includes. No motion component. No on bundles loaded, motion start complete, construction, anything like that. And we can clear out the interact message. We'll just return empty barricade message for now. And for can interact, we'll return true. And remove the remaining includes that are no longer in use. So we now have a pretty much empty class that inherits from the interface and is for the most part set up to be usable. Because I don't want this to be dorm initial, let's go ahead and clear that. So we don't want to mess with net dormancy really in this case. The update frequency, I think that's probably sufficient. Add a value of 1. And the only thing left is remove our PDA barricade file. It's not needed, so we can delete that. Okay, so let's go ahead, try to compile. And yeah, I know I've been going quite fast, but we're basically just copying over the barricade into the DebrisModule. All right, so zombie player start.cpp. We are linking to the barricade on purchase. We no longer have that barricade, so let's head over to that. So linked barricades. So this is on our player start. Let's do linked debris instead, and change the array to a debris. So we need to actually bring this module in. So this is in the zombies module. So the zombies module, we need to go ahead, and I think we can probably, I don't know if we need it yet. Let's go ahead and remove the dependency on the barricade module and replace it with the debris module. So we can go ahead and for declare a debris and go over to the CPP and iterate over link debris instead. Change the name over to debris. Use a debris as the class. Link debris.num. Debris on purchased. Yada yada yada. So we have to rename the barricade stuff there as well, which we'll do. No longer have this include, so we have debris, debris.h. So let's rename anything with barricade. So we have one entry on linked barricade purchase, change that to on linked debris purchased. And any uses of it, like so. And give it another compile. Okay, so now that we've built just fine, I want to go ahead and do a little bit of cleanup. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my project folder here, close down my IDE just because a writer makes it kind of annoying. So I have my own project cleaner, but basically what I'm doing is deleting binaries and intermediates, just those two folders, and doing the same for the plugin, but it's just because why not? So I'm going to go ahead and do a wipe, and then just simply generate Visual Studio project files. Then once that has finished, creates the intermediates, we want to relaunch the SKG zombies. So basically just launch up our solution one more time, so that way we can do a full, fresh rebuild. So let's go ahead and relaunch. Let it go ahead and process and do its thing. And then go ahead and recompile. Okay, so everything has been built. Let's go ahead and relaunch the project, because we're going to have a few things that we need to fix up, such as the barricade class no longer really containing anything, but it still exists. We have to make sure we clean up our current barricade and all of that, or sorry, our current debris from the previous barricade, and get that, pretty much set back up and ready to go. Okay, so we are back in. This, I am very surprised, is actually still here. I guess it has some of the components still added. But let's go ahead and focus on project settings first. So here we are. Mystery box is good. There was something, I believe, on player starts. So delete debris collision preset. So we have it under barricade, so we need to rename that. So let's go to our collision, go down to the barricade preset, and edit. And we'll call it debris. Once we've done that, we can go ahead and set it. Of course, it's not going to show. Let's see. Yeah, let's try closing project settings and reopening. There we go. So now we can set it to debris, because I think that was the only thing in here that we had actually changed. So that said player starts. Okay. So that takes care of that. Next up, we need to swap this barricade with the debris. So let's go to our classes. Let's go down to our DebrisModule, and we'll just click and drag in the debris. Then we can Control Z, so that way we can right click on our barricade here and replace it with debris. Once we've done that, we have our debris data, which we no longer have a valid asset for. So we need to really quickly try to make that. So let's go to zombies, data, assets, and barricades. We have this temp barricade, which we need to delete. And we also have this barricades folder, which we can also delete because we're going to make a new one called debris. So in there, let's go ahead and make a new data asset, PDA underscore debris, and call it DA underscore. Let's just do for now debris. Yeah, we'll just keep it simple. So for the mesh, we need it's like SM underscore door, not that one. Let's call it, here it is, SM underscore main door. So now if I shift it over and back, oh, wait, that's right, we got to set it. Once I set it, we now have our, barricade mesh. So next up, we have our cleanup settings is to be cleaned up. Delay wise, we don't care. We can leave that, at 0. But we do need our curves. So help door open. And we don't have any sort of rotation for this door. So let's add that and look at the length. So the length in this case is 2.5. So curve length is 2.5. And cost, we'll leave it at 100. So I'm not sure if this is going to just work out of the box. Let's grab our player start, hit play. So we get our message, we buy it, and it gets destroyed. Okay, so it seems like we have our barricade sorted and in order. So let's rename this debris to debris underscore main door, because we're going to have, a couple different ones. And that's almost it. So the last thing is going to be the linked debris. So as you can see, these zombies here all have a linked debris array, so we can add an entry, use the eyedropper, and select our barricade. So naming is wrong, but we can double click up here and do debris underscore main door. So now we have our debris underscore main door. So now whenever we buy this door, these spawn points here, I believe, wait a minute, no, I've got that backwards. These should not have a linked debris. These should. So basically, we need to add the main door to these spawn points. That way, whenever the door is bought, these spawn points are now active. And I believe that is everything. So, yeah, I really can't think of anything else, actually. All right. So now that we have this, I'm going to rename this slider here. So we have it under data, curves, barricades. Let's rename barricades to debris. And make a new folder called main door. And we'll put it in there. Then we'll rename it to C underscore for curve. Let's do main door underscore open. And that is good. Let's go ahead and fix up redirectors. And save all. And that is it. So we have our new module. We have our debris, which is good to go. We have our barricade module, which we can expand on later on. And we have, pretty much everything fixed up to where it's all now using the correct corresponding, well, debris. So with all, actually, I want to rename that one more time. Main door, let's do a debris underscore main door underscore open instead. Fix up redirectors and save. So that'll just be a overall a better, more clean name, so to speak. Okay, so I do see one more issue. So we have barricade as a category, and this is in the debris. So let's open up our debris module, debris.h. So we have them renamed there. Let's see, so that's under the, it says motion. Oh, so for some reason under the motion component, I named these barricade. I don't really know why. We're going to change it from barricade to, well, nothing, just motion. And that'll take care of this here. So anyways, once that is done, we are good to go, and I will see you in the next video. If you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon in the description below, where you can also get early access to this entire series.